welcome everyone today to the end of 2020. I bet you many of you are pretty happy to hear that. What's interesting for 2020 is it was a year, of course, of many, many different things. I don't need to go over them all, but just, of course, we had an unknown pandemic, if you will. We had a feudal election. We had unrest as far as many different items, racial and other issues as well, that we really kind of want to put 2020 behind us. And remember what I say, when we look at a 2020, what is the past for? The past is for learning, for making us better with what we want to do and how we want to respond in 2021. So a lot of what we'll cover today is about that. It's celebrating the strength you gained and what you gained from 2021, or from 2020, I should say. But also I want to make sure you understand. We understand this was a very tough year for many of you, some health-wise. You may have lost relatives. You've got people who've been very sick, people out of a job, people who retired before they wanted to. We found that this was a year of change. If you remember the term we've been talking about, VUCA, you remember that? Yeah, I can see a few of you shaking your heads. Actually, I only see myself, so it's kind of weird. But I just say that, yes, I can see you shaking your head. The term VUCA, volatile, uncertain, changing, and ambiguous. Does that seem to really be the title for 2020? If you could replace the 4 letters of 2020 with VUCA, I pretty much think that we couldn't have drawn a scenario out much crazier. What's really interesting, and I kind of want to start this, I know all of you read our 2020 welcome letter, and I'm sure you poured over it, you kept it, and really looked at what we wrote together here as a team for 2020. But what I want to go through is something in here, and I was just brought to our attention this morning on our 9:30 call by Jen, one of our newer associates here on the team, and she's been reviewing a lot of what we did, and she said, oh my gosh, I told this to my husband, and she read it to us. I'm like, oh my gosh, I almost forgot that we wrote that. So here's what we said on the second page of our Welcome to 2020 newsletter. There's a bunch of different things. How are we going to respond? Where are we now? We talked about the iPad that I'm typing on, didn't even exist 10 years ago. Really, what hasn't changed? That's what we talked about for 2020. As we welcome a new decade in, we say a lot of the things that are still important are still important. This year, we let us think before we speak, that is respond versus react. Let us spend time with loved ones, and let us think about what is truly important. Oh my goodness. Is that pretty much every webinar we've done this year so far? It's like 30 webinars. It's almost exactly the topic we talked about. It's crazy how that happens, but here's what you guys always want me to do predictions, and I will tell you that the future is really, really unknowable. We all talked about that, but when you're making predictions about the future, they're especially difficult. But as you look at this here, what happened in 2020? This is what I said. So this was basically in January. I said, what will happen in 2020? We said, let me predict. Some new technology will change the form in which we operate. Zoom. People will fight. Elections. Politics will remain polarized. One of my clients recently said it's like the Hatfields and McCoys. People will get sick. People will pass away. We will carry on and live with our mission. So if you looked at 2020, of course, those predictions are fairly, I remember there used to be a show where there used to be a John somebody, and he talked to people who had passed away. And I remember he always made these things. Is there somebody in the room? There's something bad has happened. Yes. And was it a man? Did something happen? Did he pass away? I mean, he'd go through these bland things, right? But when you look at this, this is who we are. I look at this as what happens in a general basis and what we need to be prepared for. So we'll talk a little bit about some predictions for 2021. Not. Unless they're like this, if we're looking at some of the things we're going to do, we're going to be prepared for what may happen, not just in 2021, but any day forward, so you can maintain what it is we do. So I know you've heard about it. These are fundamentals, but there's a reason we do that. It's because these things are fairly consistent. Now, I want to go through and if I can here, get a chance to give Ken his go big and Zach his as well. But I really want to go big for myself. First, I want to go big, and I want to thank you for your support for a wonderful year this year. You've been with us. You have really understood when things happened. You guys have stuck to your plan. Most every one of you have. And it's been a challenging and amazing year. So I want to thank you first. Also to my team, whose adaptability with everything going on when there's a lot of unknowns, really stayed true and had the focus on you and doing what we could to support each other and you as our clients and team. We appreciate that. To my spouse and family for understanding as well, and for us having an incredibly adaptive year. I imagine there are many of the same for you as well. For you, I also want to say thank you to you for hearing me say, don't just do something, sit there like 100 times and going, Chris, that's not funny. I don't want to just sit here. I want to do something. So I really appreciate you as well. And I want to make you understand, we understand this was a very trying year. A lot of things occurred. This wasn't all rainbows and puppy dogs. We get that. The reason we offer you hope is because you often aren't getting it from anywhere else. So I want to make sure we're going to continue to do that. For those of you who understand, though, I want you to make sure we're not living a Pollyanna life. We're living realist lives. And we choose to look at what we learn, and we choose to look at what opportunities may exist out there as well. So anyway, with that, I want to say, how about Ken? How about your go big?
Absolutely. Good morning, everybody. Great to be here as usual with all of you that are on the call and who will watch it later. My go big is really twofold. Number one, I think Chris said it the best. Thank you for being you. We love guiding you. We love being alongside of you. We truly do. You've trusted us when maybe it didn't feel right to trust us at times. You know, there were very trying times everywhere this year, especially in the markets at times as well. So thank you for being you. Thank you for trusting us as well. Also for Christmas, my dad had his first Zoom call forever in his life this Christmas. So I'm grateful for the opportunity for my dad, who is now 71 years old, to really extend himself into technology like we talk about so often here at Gentian. So those are my two go bigs.
Thank you, Kim. How about Zach?
Yeah, thank you, Chris. I'm just extremely grateful for a great Christmas this year with my parents, and a very special night on Christmas Eve. We always do a candlelight service at our church. We've done that ever since I can ever remember. My grandma was an original member at our church, so it's just a very special time for that as family. And also just extremely grateful for the overwhelming support, the Christmas wishes, everything from you guys. It is truly a pleasure to come to work every day, and it even doesn't feel right saying the word work. I just enjoy coming here every single day, working for you guys and working with this team as well. It's just truly an honor, and it's been an incredible year to share that with you and also with our team.
Thank you, Zach. I appreciate that as well. And again, thank you for your gratitude. Many of you have shown it, sent out cards to us, really sent us some goodies here in the office as well. So as all of us are trying to diet, we have to kind of all maneuver our way around all the goodies you guys make, because they're phenomenal and almost completely unresistible. So we want to thank you with that as well. Let me do this. So we're going to talk to you a little bit about the markets here in a bit. I'm going to reach over to Zach, and then Ken's going to talk about planning. We really want this to be a recap of 2020 and what we can take with us and learn. But here's what I want to start. What if, at the beginning of the year, I would have told you that we're going to have a year in which we have a pandemic that's going to kill millions around the world. It's going to stop life exactly as you know it. Matter of fact, there's also going to be 3 hurricanes that occur right around New Orleans. There's going to be a hurricane that occurs right in central Iowa and the Midwest. There's going to be fires that ravage California, Colorado, the Western US is on fire. There's going to be racial unrest. There's going to be a feudal election where the results aren't really quite decided, even as we head into 2021, as far as some of the different ramifications of. Now, if I'd have said that, if I'd have said this is what 2020 is going to shape up to be, what would you have wanted to do? What's your first reaction? That's your first gut visceral reaction. Not to stick through it, is it? You think this is going to be a tough year. Who would have thought 2020 would be one of the better years we've had as far as when it comes to returns? That does not put the recipe together for me to think that's the case. Now, it's interesting as far as if I told you what was going to happen, how you'd want to react or respond, if you will, versus how we have responded. You guys have done a phenomenal job with it. But if I tell you again, 2021 is going to have unrest, similar things like we talked about. It's going to be some new technology will change the way that we live. People will fight. Politics will remain polarized. These aren't bold. People will get sick. Unfortunately, people will pass away. and we will carry on and live our mission. So as I look at those are kind of a timeless aspect of what we do. Is this is what we're going to do on an ongoing basis. One thing we'll provide is hope, optimism, adaptability for you as well. We want you to live the best retirement you can with whatever circumstances are going on. So we're going to focus on what we can learn from what happened, and also on the positives of what we can look forward to, because hope and inspiration are what will drive us into 2021. And realism is what it is that will keep us satisfied knowing, okay, we are making progress in some way. So before I get into what I call the markets and what we go in here, I want to first just say that, their team has done a phenomenal job adapting. This is one of the adaptations of what's occurred. Probably could have been doing this years ago, might have been doing this in a few years, but just this program we're doing here, which is now every 2 weeks, and for about 13 or 14 weeks, it was every week. I very much enjoy it. It's become part of the fabric of who we are. And you get a chance, for the people who get to listen to this now or others who look at it later, you get a chance to hear from us on a consistent basis. We love this delivery method. We hope that you do too. So I just wanted to make that statement as well. Zach, how about what's going on with the markets? Give us a summary of 2020 if you can.
Yeah, absolutely, Chris. Thank you. So lucky for you guys, the market numbers and everything don't come out till the end of the day tomorrow. So I'm not going to just badger you with numbers all over the place. Just more so conceptually looking at this year in review, as Chris mentioned, and as you guys have seen, a lot has happened this year. So just taking a look back, we also want to pull some learnings out of these. And the three of those biggest ones that we want to go through is sticking to the plan, diversification in the sense of having the proper stock to bond mix for your particular goals and your goals you're trying to achieve, the asset allocations and the asset classes and why we have those, and also the importance that holds with rebalancing, and especially looking at it here at the end of the year. So in the markets this year, we hit all-time highs in February of 2020. We had the market correction in March, where we had a 30+% market correction, and the third quickest since World War II, which was quickly followed with a market recovery in April and May, and was the top 3 fastest recovery since World War II. Things did not necessarily look better on April 1st, and no one would have expected things to be one of the quickest recoveries in the 2-month time frame. In August of this year, it was the best month for the Dow and the S&P 500 in the last 36 years. In November of this year, the Russell 2000 had its best month since 1984, since they began tracking it. The Russell 2000 is the mix of smaller and mid-sized companies, and global stocks had its best month in November as well since 1988. So those are some of the biggest portions to look at and how they all apply to sticking to the plan, the diversification, and why we have the different asset allocations as well. And some things actually haven't performed as well as they normally do this year. Global real estate, mid-cap and small-cap value has gotten back from where it fell from in the March timeframe, but hasn't performed as well as some of the mid-cap growth, small-cap growth, and other elements of the portfolio as well. So that's where the different asset allocations and the different asset classes come in, because we never know when that next best month is going to happen, nor do we ever want to try to guess when that's going to happen. A lot of people would want to take a look at and see, oh, large cap growth is doing the best. I want to put all my money there, or I have all my money there. And then November happens and you miss out on one of the best months in the last 36 years. So that's why we never try to assume, never try to guess. And that's where rebalancing is such a major portion of doing that. That's the annual process that we do for you every single year, because it trims off what has done really well and buys what hasn't done as well. So then when those best months happen, our portfolio takes advantage of that for us as well. So that's really a 2020 in review. It was a phenomenal learning year. And really the biggest learning for myself this year is never waste a crisis. It's something that we heard many times throughout the year. It's something Chris shared with us a lot, is how can we capture this? How can we become better from it? I'm still extremely young and don't have as many things as you guys to capture all of these learnings. So this was extremely exciting this year for me to try to capture those and grow, because the things you've shared with me are the really tough times in the past that have made you who you are and who have really allowed you to grow and become the person that you want to be, and also to share those things with your kids and grandkids. So really, what can we go into 2021, as Chris mentioned, and what can we take from 2020 that allows us to be better, to grow, and also for our family and our friends around us as well. So it's been an extremely interesting year, and that's the 2020 review for the markets.
Thank you, Zach, and thank you for all the updates and reviews this year as well. I know it's a great segment we have. Clients look forward to it. Super informative, and I like how you bring your style to it as well and your perspective, which is great. I just want to say one thing before we hop over to Ken on some of the financial planning and procedures. One, two of you have raised your hand. Actually, three of you at one point had raised your hand on the Zoom call. If you have something, if you have a question, if you have something you want to talk about or a question, go ahead and type that. We'll have Ashley and Peter relay that to us as well. We'll maybe look at how we can make this more interactive in the future, but it will extend the time. So trying to keep this to the 30 minutes here, we have a little less interactivity, but we'd love it if you put it in maybe the Q&A or the commentary or the questions when you hop into your Zoom call as well. Before I hop to Ken, too, I just want to say one thing. This morning, it was kind of funny. My daughter comes in and goes, Dad, did you see that? Did you see the snow in my bedroom? I said, Samantha, you're finally getting my drift. So thought you could share that with the kids today. That's a good one. I just wanted to give you a little humor. I forgot to give that to you at the beginning, but at any rate, I think that was a good one. I like that one. I got another one as well, which I'll share, but I will share it after Ken and his review of planning in 2020.
Yeah, thank you, Chris, very much. Like I said, great to be with all of you today. For those of you who are grandparents who have grandkids, or if you have a parent and have children, you've watched the movie Frozen with Elsa and Anna probably 1,000 times. And my question for you today is, do you want to build a snowman? But what an interesting year. What an emotional year for all of us, from just things in our general life, our daily life that we either struggled with, or, we actually found to be, a savior as well in our life. But from a market standpoint, wow, what a roller coaster. I mean, we started the year off in January, basically feeling pretty good, coming off a 2019 good year in the markets. Your wealth was up at that point in time in 2019, and all of a sudden March and April came, where according to Yahoo Finance, the Dow Jones dropped 34% in 33 days. What a roller coaster. What a time there was a massive amount of panic going on because of the unknown that Chris talked about. We didn't know what was going to happen. And so that causes a lot of fear in the markets. And all of a sudden, around probably my guess would be September-ish, everything bounced back to where it was. It looked like nothing happened on paper. But as we know, everything happened, right? So, and all of a sudden, we're ending a year and we're up. And it's really an amazing testimonial to you guys. You stayed the course. With our message and our guidance and our persistence on a message of staying the course, you ultimately made the decision to stay the course. And for that, we are absolutely grateful for, because that really is the answer long-term. The evidence shows that is the answer. So, how we gotten here, it hasn't been easy over the years. There's been wars, presidential elections, financial crises. Major companies have gone bankrupt, inflation, deflation, toilet paper shortages this year, pandemics, epidemics, printing of money, bailouts, high interest rates, low interest rates, high unemployment, low unemployment. And after all this, the markets and your money went higher. That is amazing. As Warren Buffett says best, don't bet against America. And I think this year really showed that. I really do. Staying the course has gotten us to where we are today. Think about that. Take a moment to reflect on that. For the last 30, 40 years of your investing career, however many years you've been investing, staying the course has gotten you where you are today. So things are going to change going forward. We don't know what those changes are. It's unpredictable. But why would we do anything different when we already know that staying the course works? Just wanted to bring that to your attention there. Also, I want to talk about predictability. We had a couple clients, and when I look at what we talked about a lot this year, when it came to our meetings and things of that nature, we really talked about the markets and the fluctuation of the market. By the way, we are really proud of the work we've done in your portfolio. I know this is about you and your overall look. When you look at the rebound that you guys have had in your portfolio, we're really proud of the work we've done inside of your portfolio. When we sit around and we talk about, we analyze different positions and what did well and, where's some opportunity, we're really happy with the rebound that has happened. So, but some of the questions that came up is, around presidential elections, of course, that came up. But but also coming across temptation. You know, some people call this human nature, human behavior. I'll call it temptation. A lot of you shared stories with me when you meet persuasive people, either on the beach, when you're on vacation, whether you listen to PBS shows by Consuelo Mack called Wealth Track. There are persuasive people out there that will try to get you to do something that you maybe shouldn't do. So for example, this gentleman that I was talking to recently was listening to Consuelo Mack on Wealth Track, and this gentleman was on there. He was an economist and basically said, "Get out." And this was back in May. This client got out against our guidance, of course. And this gentleman on this program had costed our client over $200,000. That is a massive amount of money. And this gentleman was wrong, right? And so again, just be careful of temptation. Be careful of when you talk to people. Staying the course is the answer. If you've been with us for a long time, you know that is the answer at this point in time. But you know, it's interesting. The Dow Jones hit 30,000 this year. You know, that's a widely known and widely looked at index. It happened on November 24th of this year. No one saw that coming. The housing market being on fire. If you're selling your house right now, no one saw that the housing market being as good as it is today. So, you know, this year, again, the Secure Act, as far as financial planning goes, we saw the Secure Act of 2020 change the RMD amount to 72, eliminated a lifelong stretch of IRA beneficiaries, basically for the inherited IRA. Now it's a 10-year payout. The CARES Act, you know, really waived the RMD for 2020. By the way, in 2021, we are back on track. There's no legislation right now that says that there's a waiver of 2021's RMD. That will definitely be on track for 2021. So we'll be having conversations about that. Also, qualified charitable distributions out of your IRA when you're over 70.5 are still in play. Those haven't gone away. Those are still in play for next year and beyond that we know about right now. So one thing that this year has really taught me, and I'll hand it back over to Chris, is that, you know, yes, we are retirement planners, but we do this because of you. We do this because of who you are as people. We do this because of the stories you share with us. The one thing I realized this year greatly with you all is I miss the handshakes and hugs. When you come into the office, we are usually shaking hands and giving each other hugs. We become friends. We care about you deeply. And I miss that. I hope we get back to some of that back in 2020, or I'm sorry, 2021 going forward. So I want to let you know that we're here for you, big or small. We're absolutely dedicated to you. We love being alongside of you on this journey and guiding you and giving you advice on how to optimize your investments in life. If you need anything from us, please, we will reach out to you, reach out to us as well. We are here for you, and I want you to know that.
Thank you, Ken. That echoes, it's just a phenomenal look at it. Echoes what I believe as well, Ken. It's really well said. I think that we miss you, we miss the hugs, we miss the heart to heart, we miss the face to face, and most of all, we miss you. It's fun to do. We have fun to Zoom. It's nice to learn this new technology, and it's given us a lot of opportunities to meet people, to have meetings we wouldn't have been able to have this year, especially as we have 5 or 8 inches of snow. It's kind of an interesting piece, but thank you, Ken. That's fantastic. I appreciate the insight. And really, if you looked at 2020 for the CARES Act, there's so many different acts that are coming out, and you're seeing some new PPP things come out and this and that. We'll keep you informed. That's a nice thing about what we're doing here. And Ken, in that corner planning, has just really been great at, we'll put this idea, hey, Ken, how should we say this? Or Zach, how are we going to work in the markets on this? And really, we can put all that together in a symbiotic relationship here to give you advice. Now, what I want to do here, just let me give you one more joke that you could use possibly as well. Did you guys hear about the kidnapping at school? It's okay, she was tired. So today, isn't that interesting how I say that first part of it and you go, kidnapping at school, your first thought is, oh my gosh, really? And then you go, oh, Chris is telling a joke. But it's amazing today. So our heightened fear, our heightened anxiety keeps us on alert. The amygdala in our brain, the back of our brain, has got us in fight or flight mode. One of the good things is to be mindful. Tune that down. Get back into a relative understanding mode that I can respond versus reacting. So that's a big, big part of this year as well. A couple of things I wanted to do, and I think a lot of people have asked us, and this is a big, big, big question you're getting. Ken may have mentioned, I think Zach mentioned a little bit too, is everybody's asking what's going to happen in 2021. By the way, I must have received, and you probably don't know this, I've received probably 14 over the year different people who have sent me something from some expert, some text, some expert who's called something before. By the way, they haven't Experts are wrong about 66 to 70% of the time when I've studied experts' predictions, especially just on interest rates. So who predicted this year? Exactly no one. People will say there were ruminations if you were vague enough, right? But what we understand, and what's really interesting is this year, I actually went on the internet and I bought a crystal ball. I bought one because you guys are asking me this. So I want to show you what it looks like. Here's my crystal ball. And in this, let me see, what can you see in that? Can you guys see anything? You guys see anything here? Me neither. I bought this crystal ball and it's all clouded. But you are all asking us what's going to happen in 2021. There's people out there telling you what's going to happen in 2021. I will stick to my guns. It's very difficult to predict things, especially about the future. But we are human. There will be human things that occur. We're going to need compassion. We're going to need hope, optimism. We're going to need grit to stick true to our plan, as Ken and Zach were both mentioning. This is what 2021, matter of fact, this is what every year is going to need for us. As you're retired, as you're living on an income that's based upon markets and the value of those markets is based on the fear of humans, you're going to find that this is an important year. Let me give you one story here as well. A lot of clients are saying, hey, if this happens, if that happened, if this happened. We had a lot of those conversations pre-election and during the election and even into now. Let's say that you decided that you would make some sort of a decision in April, like 30% of Americans did, to sell your portfolio, okay? And you say, what are you going to do when you sell it? They have no idea, but they're just going to sell it. They're going to get out. So the market then recovers 50%. And then you ask, well, what are you waiting for? What are you waiting for to get back in? Well, I'm going to get back in at some point. They have no idea what it is. Now the market corrects 15 or 20%. They say, see, I told you so. Down 20%. But wait a minute, the market went up 50, came back down 20. So you're still really down around 30%. This is the issue that you'll see. Nobody really has any idea what to happen now or what happens now, if you will. And they don't go back and measure that. That's why often what Ken and Zach are talking about, sticking to plan, makes a huge, huge difference as well. I do have one question here. Nope, not a question. It's actually pretty interesting. It's a Happy New Year's to Peter. So I just make sure I tell you that as well from Keith and Jean Patterson. I wanted to break through and say that. Thank you. We really wanted to make sure we got that in there as well. But I think if you look at 2021, what we'll be here for, what we'll be doing for you, Ken had a great statement, Zach had a great statement, we commit to. 2021, again, I predict will be very, very similar. Different things will happen though. Remember I guess it was the pandemic, it was 2004. I was at a program, we were at the Radisson Mayfair, and it was just after the 2011, the 2001 9/11 bombings occurred. And I remember asking, how many people think there's actually going to be a terrorist event in America now in this next year? And guess what? Out of the 200 people there, guess what happened? Everybody. Here's the difference. Once things occur, if the same thing happens, people don't react the same way. They go, oh, okay. Will there be a second spike? Will there be a third spike? Will there be yeah, probably. People think that. That's their inertial thinking, right? So we understand that. It's the unknown unknowns, the ones Ken were talking about, the things that come out of left field. That's what's really going to make a big difference to how people react. But remember, once again, they react temporarily. So that's a big part of this as well. 2021, how we're going to go into it. We want to know what it is you need. We're going to continue to bring things to you that you probably don't know you need, or just making sure if anything happens, we're there. We do that on a very consistent basis. And the good news about us, if we don't have the answer, we're willing to say, I'm not sure, let us find the answer for you, or let us connect you with a specialist. Those are very, very important to know as well. But we want to make sure that you're prepared for the changes that are going to occur. We also want to be the rock to remain firm for you during your planning this year. So you've heard consistently from us. I know a lot of you say, I'm not going to call Chris. I know exactly what he's going to say. It's going to be the same thing for Ken. It's going to be the same thing for Zach. So what you'll do is you'll tell somebody on the front lines. I'm going to tell Angie. I'm going to tell Lisa. I'm going to tell this. I'm going to tell somebody. But I know if I talk to Chris, he'll say, stay true to the plan. So we appreciate that you're using all of us. As a team here, we have a very consistent message and communication as well. We want to continue to be here for you on that for 2021. And again, I think the big key for us, 2021, you're going to start to see, and I kind of unveiled it last time, we have Gentian's retirement, and that's what we really are here for. We're specialists in retirement, and Gentian retirement has two major facets: plan it and live it. Plan it is everything you think of, and probably more than what most people do in planning for retirement. financially, fiscally, planning, all those. Gentian's live it side of the equation is what most people don't get. It's what many of you have been on the true wealth journey with us. So the 2 programs we've had so far, many of you who've been on there really have enjoyed that. And you've said we've gotten some great things out of that. That's great. On the live it side of the equation, you're going to see more with the Gentian, with the women's group. You're going to see more things, but we want to hear from you and what it is you need. So thank you for getting the get to knows back from us as well, or to us, to get to know you better. It's very important because that's something that we're not normally spending 20 or 30 or 40 minutes talking about every year. It's awesome to get back and see that your favorite color is chartreuse. I don't know what that is, so I had to look up chartreuse. People's favorite number, people's favorite music. I mean, we just smile when we get it, and we think it's awesome. And some of them we use, obviously, when we're talking to you on your phone call, or Zoom call, if you will, just to say that, hey, that's my favorite movie too. I love that book. The Bible, one of my favorite books ever. My favorite book ever. So again, to see that on yours has been fantastic. So we appreciate that connection, your time invested with us. We understand we're not the most important thing in your life. We help you live what's most important, but we're here to remain that rock in the time that we can for you to keep your plan intact so you can continue to support the things that you want to, both your lifestyle, your family, your friends, your faith, all of those things, and your health, the things that are important to you. That's what 2021 will continue to be for us, and we'll continue to work that way. And thank you tremendously for the introductions. When you refer one of your family members, when you refer one of your friends who are retiring, when you refer somebody who needs help, we really appreciate it. That's you transferring your trust to us and them for what we've done for you. We really appreciate that. Again, it allows us to spend all of our time on you when you're out talking and telling people about us. So once again, thank you. We want to say we've had another fantastic year despite this major correction, if you will, and we continue to appreciate you introducing us to your friends and family as well. So again, we're serious about our guidance to you. We're committed to you. We want you to know that's extremely important. When wealth management is what we do, we've talked about it. I'm going to call it retirement is what we do. And you are what we do. We want to continue to become experts and better in you. So when we're giving you advice, it's advice from understanding who you are and what you want. So if I look at that, what I'd really like you to do in 2020 as we send this out, maybe if you guys have a drink or something like that, many of you probably aren't drinking at 11 a.m., although some of you might be, to each their own. Why don't you raise a little glass here? I know tomorrow is New Year's Eve, but let's send out a little bit of a cheer. Anybody have a glass? Let's send out 2021. Take your coffee, take your water, take your whatever. Ken has a virtual water, which is pretty sweet. Let's basically send that off. You guys can unmute yourself. Let's all say cheers at the same time. Zach and Ken, unmute yourself. 1, 2, 3. Cheers.
Happy New Year, everybody.
And Happy New Year. Yeah, sending off 2021 with the bang. Stay safe, stay grateful, stay positive. And again, be somebody else's hope. Help somebody else today. Enjoy. Thank you very much for 2020, and we will see you in a few days in 2021.